Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 3, season 2 of Fantasy Forecast. Obviously, we're doing NBA here, and we're just basically focusing on FanDuel. Yesterday's lineup was a winning cash lineup. It hit cash and doubles up. It was a 288 score on a 4-game slate. Not, it wasn't a 308. It wasn't a kick-ass score, but it's enough to win. You need to be in that top half. That's what matters. So I can see a DFS Dojo logo right there. Love it. Anyways, so yesterday we had Lillard and Lawson, Bradley and Ginobili, Leonard and Crowder, Millsap and Aldridge, and Horford. And just browsing through, you guys can see the scores. I mean, they were all just okay, around the 5 times value you're looking for. And that's the point of doing a cash game, guys. So when you look at today's lineup that I've selected for myself, that's the reason why I have Westbrook in there. Because honestly, on a cash game, guys, you can't fade someone that can put down 70 fantasy points. If you do, and more than half of the people have him, and that's very likely today in cash and GPP, I would think as well. Maybe not up to 50 in GPP because they'll be willing to fade a little bit more there, but in cash games, I highly expect them to be over 50% owned. So, if that's the case, and Westbrook does well, you've automatically lost. Because you can't overcome a 70-point performance with anyone else. And that's where you come into lock plays. I'll talk about those more as the seasons go on, but Westbrook is a lock play today in a cash game because you can't afford, if he goes off, to lose him. And there's going to be enough people that have him that you'll win anyways, even if he doesn't do all that well, if he just does a normal performance or something. And that's the point. So we're going to go ahead and anchor the lineup with Westbrook, and then the rest of the lineup spreads out a bit. Curry, don't like today, guys. He only put up 32 fantasy points in the first game, and I think that's going to be indicative of the way things are going to start to run a little bit. Curry is a great player, guys. He's going to sink his threes sometimes. But is he going to score more than 50 fantasy points on a consistent basis? Not with Durant around. He's taken too much of the ball handling, and it's just not going to happen. Another reason is Draymond Green, too. He eats a lot of... they're both great players, and they're both going to suck away from Curry's time. Kemba Walker's an interesting play, but until he can pick up a little bit more, I'd like to see, from all these guys, I want to see a bigger fantasy performance in the point guard position. Same with Lowry. Irving did okay at his $7,500 price on his game. I was just fine with that. Kyrie's not a bad choice. He went up, I think, $100, and it's from the last time he was up on the board. We got Bledsoe. Phoenix is not... They play too fast, and they have no defense. I have a feeling Oklahoma City is going to do just fine against them today with Westbrook, despite the fact all they have now is Westbrook. But that's not entirely true either. They do have a couple other players, and I have Robertson later on in my lineup today at the small forward position because I don't trust their second option of Depot. Their Depot is not the best replacement, really, for losing Durant. He's just not. It's not going to be a similar situation. Going further down here, I'll just highlight ones that I look good today. Deron Williams has a decent spot today against Houston. You can look at him at the 6,400 price. 35 fantasy points, again, is not out of the question. Might even do something around 40 today. It's possible, and that's a great return at 6,400. Be looking at George Hill. Wonderful, wonderful spot today against the Lakers. Great pick if you can get him in your lineup somehow. The only reason why I don't have Hill is I went ahead and took Tim Frazier at 5,300, and I wouldn't recommend going too much cheaper than him today, to be honest. I don't see anyone in there that is really... I mean, you got Johnson there from Miami that put up almost 30 points at the 4,600 price, and J.J. Barea is at 32 points on his 51, but Dallas is more likely to see a blowout today, and some of those guys that are first-line players are probably going to sit out the fourth quarter. So I'd stray a little bit away from taking all but the best of Dallas today in terms of minutes. That's it for the point guard position, guys. Frazier, that's a no-brainer. He's looking like he's going to be the second option for scoring right now behind Davis. And since Davis is going to be like Kobe Bryant of the Lakers of last year, the year before, I'm thinking of the game where he put up 50 points, at the end, just like Davis did in his season opener, So how many other players on the Lakers really were able to do much? D'Angelo Russell and whatever. Yeah, okay, so they could put down 30 fantasy points sometimes because the Lakers needed a second choice option. And I think that's what Tim Frazier is, guys, which means you're getting him at a bargain today at 5,300. All right, moving on to the shot guard position. We got Hood. Again, lovely position against the Lakers today. I'd be eating it up all over the place. And Wesley Matthews, if he's going to see the same type of shots, if he's going to take up 18 shots in a game, he's not priced for a guy that's taking up 18 shots in a game because he can hit more of them. I wasn't too happy with his performance in the last game. Let's be honest, guys. 13 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals. What was that in fantasy terms? You can go down. 28.5 points. That ain't bad for 5,100. It's more than 5 times value, but I think the guy can get up 35. I think he can do you really well at that 5,100 price. Shot guard is a light position today, guys. Unless you have the money for Harden, and Harden's playing a tough Dallas opponent today. He really is. And we all know Harden has no defense. I don't think he puts up another 64 points today. I think people that take the 11-3 are going to get skunked. I could be wrong, but look at the differences. The 11-3 and then all the way down to DeRozan and Depot and Batum, but you cut how much in salary? He's $3,500 more. He's a full minimum priced player more than DeRozan, the second guy on the board. Something tells me he's just a little too high priced today, especially when you have so many other options. If you want to get a Westbrook, if you want to get an Anthony Davis in your lineup, you're not going to be able to afford Harden as well. You just won't be able to pull it off. All right, so you are going to make choices today, guys. On an 8-game slate, you're not going to have a way around that. You're going to have to make some choices. So if you really like Harden today, pull out Draymond Green, pull on Anthony Davis, or pull on Westbrook from this lineup and make your own. I've given you guys choices so that you can pick along the guys that are, the better choices to pick today. If I don't mention a guy, you probably don't want to pick him, On this shot guard list, I'd be looking at Booker today. I think he'll rebound a little bit against Oklahoma because Westbrook isn't going to be covering him. And look at Fournier. I'd be skipping Clarkson today. Definitely Hood. That's who I have, obviously. You could look at Eric Gordon, but I don't like the matchup with Dallas. And that's really about it there today, guys. Yeah, so it's a light position. I went with Hood and Matthews. There's a couple other choices that I mentioned. You can spend up for Harden. The beard's always fine, but I would skip today. All right, on to the small forward position. Small forward today, it's much heavier. We got LeBron. I'd be passing LeBron today, even though he can put up 50 points because he's $10,000 on fantasy, and there's no need to take, don't spend $10,000 if he's only going to give you 50 points, possibly less. Against Toronto, now I know that they went deep into the playoffs last year, guys, but they don't look the same. Just after preseason and one, they don't look the same. I think that Cleveland will mow them down today. And if that's the case, King James ain't playing the full game. So he'll get his 50 fantasy points and he'll sit. And that's just a guess, but that's an educated guess, I believe. Same thing with Kevin Durant. I believe that Golden State completely outclasses this team versus San Antonio. Now, I could be wrong, seeing as how they got screwed by San Antonio last, 2 days ago. But New Orleans they're just a one-dimensional team with Davis. There is no defense. Last season, they were 27th or 28th in fantasy points allowed to teams. It's near dead bottom of the league. I wouldn't be sticking anywhere near that. So avoid James, avoid Durant, and since you can pass on the studs, you basically get to scrubs today. And so the only scrubs that I really liked are Justice Winslow. And to me, he's a lock, guys. If you don't have Justice Winslow in your lineup today, you got a problem. He's now the second choice option over there in Miami, and he is priced way below what he should be. Mark my words, he's going to be a $6,000 player, guys, in a couple weeks. Robertson, same kind of thing. If the guy can see 22 minutes and is a legitimate scoring option against a very bad Phoenix team defensively, you could see him put up 22 fantasy points, a point per minute. And at 4,000 or 3,900, he makes your lineup work. So I'd be all over Robertson today as well. If you have the money, though, Joe Johnson, by a long shot. Be looking at him. A great matchup today against the Lakers, because that's the other team that really just screws the pooch when, if you want to get fantasy points, have your opponent be the Lakers or have them be Houston. Anyways, so a little bit of a laugh there, but it's true. You know, fantasy is not so much just picking the player on the stats. It's also picking that they have the right matchup. Always remember that. Look at the matchup as much as the player. Okay, on to the power forward position today. We got Anthony Davis and we got Draymond Green. You take the brow because he's not going to get 95 fantasy points again. We all know it. But when you start your season off like that and it looks like you're going to be the heart and soul of the team, I don't see a reason why they don't give him the ball for another 36 minutes tonight. And if that's the case, man, Glass Joe Davis there could give us 65 fantasy points again and just start rocking the free world and be like, oh my God. It's true. Dirk, don't like it in the blowout situation today. I don't think he's going to get 40 fantasy points. K-Love, I do like that matchup against Toronto, although he can get pulled in the fourth quarter too. So there's blowout risk, but I think the pricing is still there. You can pay for Love today. Let's see. Favors, skip. Well, you could take Favors today, but I have a feeling that he's going to be pulled in the fourth quarter for sure in an almost certain blowout. Randall will probably play most of the game, but against Utah, it's another iffy. See, there's guys that are iffy, and I try to avoid iffy guys. That's why my score comes out to 290 on a night instead of 310. I'm trying to get a guaranteed win, guys, and not like, oh, there's a certain chance that, if there's a certain chance, that's a lineup you play in a GPP. If it's pretty much a lock on their minutes and their points, it's a cash guy. And that's the difference. I don't see much else in this sheet today. I mean, even on an 8-game slate. Although at your other power forward position, I got Draymond Green. And I love him today against the Pelicans, even with just 3/4 of playing time. I think that he's just going to ball his ass off. Now, center is an interesting bag of worms today. I got Roy Hibbert in there, but Hibbert is there because of the minute run. Guys, has anyone noticed that? Look at his salary and look at his fantasy points per game. Yeah. Guys, he paid 10 times value the other night. If that's anything at all about what he's going to see, look at that. He had 15 points, 9 boards, 5 blocks, and 3 assists across 32 minutes in the win over the Bucks. And the Bucks are not a bad team. I wouldn't say they're a top-tier team, but, I mean, they're not the Lakers or anything. He put up 10 times value. So if he starts to see that kind of minute run, way too cheap today. He becomes a must-play. Yeah, I mean, you got to lock in someone that's going to pay you a chance at 10 times value. You don't have much choice. All right. Capella. Capella is getting minutes and time. If that continues, you can definitely take Capella today if you've got the money, especially if you think that, Houston's going to hang with Dallas. If you think Houston can hang with Dallas with, the Rock or the Beard up there, then definitely be considering taking Capella today. Your other choices, Steven Adams could be okay at 4,800 against Phoenix. It's a weak defensive team. I'd be looking at him too if you had the extra 100 above Capella and you don't like taking Capella today. And JV. JV will probably be a force to try to keep them in it against Cleveland today. And then the elephant in the room, of course, is going to be Miles Turner, because if you guys have looked at, there you go. Look at that fantasy point performance. 60 points on 6,900. If he does anything like that again, you have to have him. But remember, their first game was an overtime game, so 60 includes the extra period of 5 minutes, so you're really looking at like a 52, 53-point fantasy performance adjusted. Still, an incredible value at 6,900. You don't knock it like 50 or 60, you'll take it at that price. So Miles Turner is probably your high-end option today, because if you look at the higher choices, check them out, guys. Whiteside, not enough minutes at 43 points for 8,500. Vucevic, he could not. Probably going to be a little bit of a slower game. Drummond came out horribly. You don't want to take him until he starts to perform a bit. Same with Brook Lopez. Look at that with the Nets. 11 points. Disgusting. Gobert, great matchup today against the Lakers. If you have the extra 100, you can consider Gobert as like an alternate to Turner, but I'd probably be looking at Turner anyways today. Against the Nets, he probably is going to have a decent night today. But that's only if you have the money. So, and that's it for today's lineup. So let me go through it again real fast. Today's lineup for cash games, guys. And when I say cash games, I'm telling you guys to enter $1, $2, $5, 50/50s, single entries. And double up games, single entries. You always want to play a single entry, even in a tournament, guys. And the main reason for that is because the pro has to put his very damn best against you. He can't use 50 different lineups to try to kill you with something weird happening. And that's how they normally do it, if you haven't watched. Play a single entry and pretty much guarantee yourself that you're only playing against their best lineup. Sometimes they're wrong too, guys. That's how we make our money. Alright. Westbrook and Frazier at the point guard position. Hood and Matthews at the shot guard position. Justice Winslow, the lock today, and Robertson at the small forward. Anthony Davis and Draymond Green at power forward. And Roy Hibbert for your center. And again, that's a cash game lineup. Alright guys, I hope you guys all won some money yesterday. Go on out there, go win some more money today, guys. Have a great night, enjoy the season for tonight, and I will see you all tomorrow.